Hey now, what is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I'm here to give my top 10 favorite Batman live action villains. So these are only the live action movies. Not a lot to choose from, to be honest. I mean, yeah, there's been quite a few Batman movies, but they've regurgitated a lot of the same villains and same characters time and time again. So I had to try to squeeze out as many different ones as I could. This is my opinion, my list, so it's going to be biased. Just a warning right off the bat. Let's start things off with number 10, Harley Quinn. And normally, I really enjoy the Harley Quinn character and her backstory and her mythos to the Batman lore. But technically, this is also a cheat because this is Suicide Squad. I'm mostly paying attention to the Batman standalone movies as far as villains go. But Harley Quinn, she's kind of the anti hero of the DCEU. It's only in Suicide Squad where you get the one scene where her and Joker are being chased by Batman on date night, and it's one of the only scenes where Harley is a full-fledged villain. She's madly in love with the Joker. She's fully dedicated to him. Now she's steered away and she's more of a on her own type character, but it was nice. It was great to see Harley Quinn be chased by Batman. Number 9, the Penguin from Batman Returns. Most people do not like Danny DeVito's interpretation of the Penguin, and I can't argue with you. I can't disagree with you. I understand why you find him grotesque, why you find him maybe annoying, or why you just can't really watch Tim Burton's gruesomely dark and very different adaptation to the character. I too very much enjoy the comic book version and would like to see that version in a movie, hopefully someday, one day. But I don't know if it's because I grew up on this or it's because I have some sick perverse mind of my own, but I find this penguin, this Oswald Cobblepot, very amusing, very entertaining. Number 8, the Riddler from Batman Forever. Here is another maybe controversial pick because it is from the Joel Schumacher era of Batman, which people don't really look too fondly back on. But it's really Jim Carrey. You know, even if you don't like the tone of the movie, even if you think it's too silly, too goofy, too colorful, and you don't like to go back and rewatch it, Jim Carrey is having a ball. He has that charisma. He has that personality that stands out. And sure, maybe he over dominates the film, over dominates characters like Batman in his own movie, but he was being Jim Carrey. He was being what you wanted to see from Jim Carrey in the 90s. I do like the little bit that we do get of Edward Nygma being completely obsessed and stalkerish of Bruce Wayne and thus turning into the Riddler and his riddles and his outfits and his one-liners, everything that goes into that. Number 7, Scarecrow from Batman Begins. Really all three of the Dark Knight films. Cillian Murphy, I think, did a great job, especially in Batman Begins, being that underlying creepy type character. Sure, he's not the main villain. Sure, he's not the one who's going through the plans and being a leader, but he does have his own nefarious plans with his fear gas that he's created, how he's getting certain inmates in Arkham switched over so that him and his boss can do what they need to do, poisoning the water supply in Gotham, wanting to send the city into madness. It's sick. And whenever Cillian Murphy showed back up in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, I was very glad to see this character. Number 6, Two-Face from The Dark Knight. I very much wanted to put this character higher because of how good Aaron Eckhart was. It was hard to put him this low on the list because you're watching a character fall. You're watching Harvey Dent, who is supposed to be the White Knight, who's supposed to be the savior, who's supposed to be Batman's savior and his reason for giving up this life, being able to run off into the sunset with Rachel, and thus it never happens because Harvey is broken. He's broken by the Joker, he's broken by the death of Rachel, and he's broken by his scarred, disfigured face that he turns evil. And yeah, sure, maybe we could have gotten another movie with Two-Face running amok and doing his crimes, but this was personal, this mattered. Number 5, Catwoman from Batman Returns, another character that I wish I was able to put higher on this list because Michelle Pfeiffer just kills this role, kills this performance. One of my favorite parts of Batman Returns, playing Selena Kyle, who, yeah, different from the comics as far as being the receptionist at first, but her near-death experience, getting pushed out of the window by Christopher Walken, her going from that shy person to this sexy seductress wearing the skin tight leather outfit, the scenes that she has with Bruce Wayne, the two of them falling for each other, that relationship being very much real, and then her going off in her nightlife as Catwoman, doing crimes, partnering with Penguin, and doing all these bad things. Bruce trying to save her. Deep down, she wants to live a fairy tale and a nice life with him, but she can't. It's tragic, it's sad, and it's such a great performance from Michelle Pfeiffer. At number 4, Joker from 1989, the Jack Nicholson Joker. It was also hard not to make this guy number 1 because it's the Joker, for one. And for 2, I grew up on Jack Nicholson's Joker, this over-the-top behavior that Nicholson pulls off so well, seeing his origins of being a gangster, getting betrayed by his boss, falling into the vat of chemicals from Batman. As much as I don't love seeing Joker's origin or any form of his origin, at the time it just made sense to show how bizarre, how crazy and twisted. The scene where he first reveals himself in the makeup and or the bleached skin, the permanent smile, him killing people with poison gas and talking to skeletons, and him doing everything that he does in the city with the parade and wanting to poison everyone, his obsession with Vicky Vale. A lot of his plot might not make much sense, but it's the Joker, so it doesn't have to make sense. Number 3, maybe a surprise to some people, but Bane from Dark Knight Rises. I love this version of Bane. Sure, it's not traditional comic book Bane at all, but we already got some form of that in Batman and Robin, and look how horrible that turned out. This Bane was menacing. That voice, that very memorable, very impressionable voice that everybody loves to try to impersonate, but still, it's commanding. You listen, you want to hear what this guy says. This mask makes him stand out and makes his look memorable as well. And it says something to Tom Hardy's performance that he's not as tall, I don't think, as Christian Bale in real life, but as this character, in the costume, in this situation, in this movie, he looks much bigger. At number 2, speaking of terrorists, Roz Al Ghul from Batman Begins. Not only do I like the Roz Al Ghul character in general, but I loved how they used him to be a mentor for Bruce Wayne, somebody who trains him in everything that he knows. Basically, he feels like Gotham is too far gone, which in some cases you might wonder if he's telling the truth, if he's right. Maybe Gotham does need a hard reset. At number 1, though, for my favorite live-action Batman villain, it's probably not hard to tell because he hasn't been mentioned yet, Heath Ledger's Joker. I know that we've gotten many iterations of the Joker over the years, and some people might be sick to death or starting to get sick of this character, and I get it. But his performance in The Dark Knight and how Joker just goes to the next level of anarchy and chaos. He's an agent of chaos, right? He doesn't have a true fluid plan. He doesn't have revenge like other Jokers have. He doesn't have any personal vendetta, really. He just wants to watch the world burn. He just wants to see if he's able to do some of these crazy things that he thinks of. He wants to prove that everybody else is crazy as well. He becomes obsessed in this movie with Batman because of Batman's ability to not cross the line, to not kill him no matter what he does. And it sucks. We were robbed not only of Heath Ledger dying and that sucking in general, but we were also robbed of seeing more of this version of the Joker in future movies and where this character could have gone, because he's fascinating. He's clearly the best parts of the movie. He's clearly the most talked about parts of the film. They're still trying to recreate to this day what this Joker was able to do. So guys, that's my list, my personal list of my favorite top 10 Batman live action villains. Do you agree with the list? Do you have your own list, your own numbers that you'd like to comment below and let me know? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.